NVGEBE press conference with the headquarters new temporary manager of NVGEBE, Iris Arundel. Minister of Justice, about Article 30 of the Constitution of St. Martin suspects Justice Partners Unite to strengthen public safety and enforcement efforts. Mrs. Iris Arundel, who has been appointed as the temporary manager of NVGEBE. From the island, St. Martin, this is SXM Daily News for June 19th, 2026. NVGEBE press conference with the headquarters new temporary manager of NVGEBE, Iris Arundel, outlines the problem the company is facing. Today is June 19th, 2026. We still have the money that we have received, and we do not know where to apply some of those forms, but no one came in, don't have any account number, so we do not know whose money it is. The last keep accounts in their names, collect the rent from the tenants, and then they don't pay NVGEBE. And when we go and disconnect, we disconnect the tenant and tell them that if I pay the landlord, but then that's a situation between the landlord and NVGEBE. Due to inheritance issues, many accounts remain in people's names. Yes, the account is in a dead person's name, or while the actual living person is living there. So that's also a challenge.
Corrections had to take place for the March bills for everyone, and as I said, this took much of our time. The situation we have in St. Martin, we might be a very small island, but you will be shocked to know every month we have about 200 persons moving on this little island here. Because we have a lot of rentals on this island. To date, up to today, today's June 19, 2026, we still have monies that we have received and we do not know where to apply some of those funds because no one came in, we don't have any account numbers, so we do not know who the money belongs to. The landlords keep accounts in their names, they collect the rent from the tenants and then they don't pay GB. And when we go and disconnect, we disconnect the tenant and then the tenant says, I pay the landlord, but then that's a situation between landlord and GB. Due to inheritance issues, many accounts remain in dead people's name. Yes, the accounts is in a dead person's name, but while the actual living person is living there. So that's also a challenge that is posed for us. Persons on this island, they move out from a location, they do not inform GB. A next one move in, and then by any chance, maybe they move out, or other one move in, and then when we reach to that location and we disconnect, then the person will say, I only have 2 months there, I can't be responsible for all those bills. Those are situations that we face up to today. We ask persons to bring in the personal information like the email and the phone number so we can contact them. To date, half of the persons did not do that as yet. Initially, when after the hack, when we started disconnection, we focused mainly on businesses. We realized that we were late with many bills in 2023 and 2024. So GB decided water leaks are usually for the responsibility of the customer. Anything after the meter is for the responsibility of the customer. But because we were late with bills, GB wrote off all those water leaks and gave everybody the average bills to pay. So GB took that as their responsibility. In payment plans in GB was only for water leaks. But after the hack, when we realized what was going on, we decided that we will have to extend the payment plans also for electricity or for outstanding bills that persons may have. And GB started off by saying businesses will pay 25%, customers will pay 25% as a down payment, and then the rest will go on a plan. But we realized that that was an impossibility. Then we started asking customers, how much can you pay? When they gave us the amount, we made the plan for those amounts, but then what we realized, the customers only pay the plan, and the current bills continue adding up, so we're not going forward like that either. So we are at a situation now where we ask the customers, how much can you give GB on a monthly basis? And on a monthly basis means whatever you give us will have to cover your current bill, and also part of it will have to be for the payment plan for your older bills. And to our surprise, we still have a lot of people that when they tell you sometimes how much they can give you for the salary, sometimes it even can't cover the current bill. And those persons, we started referring to social services, because obviously they have a financial problem. Out of that situation, we have a program that came between GB and social services, but social services is the department that decides who will get the financial help, not GB. And our payment plan policy is for 2 years. But currently we have payment plans going to be running for 5 years because of what people say they can afford to pay us monthly. Where are we today? We took responsibility for the water leaks, and now, once you start something on this island, people feel it has to continue. As of 2025, we no longer stand responsible for leaks after the bill, because we deliver our bills on time, people are getting the bills, but people are upset because they feel we have to continue writing off all those water leaks. And because of the high fuel clauses, persons continue to say their bills are incorrect. And now I will go to some graphs to show you some of our outstanding amounts that we have. This is based on the number of contracts. Just now somebody asked, we have about only 23,000 contracts. So if we can see for the year 2022, we have a total of 939 contracts still did not pay 2022 bills. For 2023, 1,942. For 24, 3,792. As you see, it's continued to climb. And in 2026, right now, we have 16,021 persons and did not pay their bills. Then we look at the amounts outstanding. We can see exactly the amounts here. They are in, it says Gildas, right? It's XCG, yes, it's written in XCG. So you can see the outstanding over the months as we have. And this is where we are at GB right now. If we don't collect these funds, this is really keep putting GB in a real financial situation that, yeah. We know all the words what they have outside there. This is one of the causes why a lot of those things won't be able to happen based on how people are requesting. Because we have to find we have to get a way to collect these bills, these outstanding amounts. I'm going over to the fuel clause, because this is the next important one that people want to know. How is our fuel clause made up? We look at the total amount of kilowatts produced in a month. We take off GB own consumption for the power plant. We take off the fuel clause portion for 7 Cs, and we have an 8.5% fixed rate net loss. We add all of those, and then we reach to our net sales. Also, we have our fuel price, the LFO, the HFO, and our lubricants, and those constitute our total fuel purchases. And then the fuel clause is calculated by the total fuel purchases divided by the net sales. And that amount is what we use and what you will see on your invoice by the fuel clause. That's what you will see on your bill. Okay. Here you have an average of the fuel clause from 1994 to current, to 2026. So you can see how it has evolved over the years. We had a peak, if everyone can remember, in that period from 2008 come forward till 2014. And now we also in a situation, our hack was in 2022. If you look at 2021, our fuel clause was still here. When we asked people to pay in 2022 the same amount that they were paying, this is where a lot of people get upset. They say, why should I give you more? You asked me to pay what we custom of paying. But fuel clause went up. So automatically what you were custom of paying will not suffice to cover the bills for 2022. And it continued, and we see in 2024 how high it is, and as we go along in 2026, with all what is going on in the world, it's going to be very high, much higher. So the fuel clause is really what is helping the bills to increase, that people are saying, I am still using the same amount. Why is my bill so high? Is the fuel cost is the main cause of that. And then GB current status. I just give this as an example. I want persons to understand what we're going through. GB is the employee of the owner. The owner is the people of St. Martin is the owner of GB. And the owners of St. Martin tell GB for the month, I use this information for our May 2026 month. The salary is $26,386 a month. The owner tell GB, we only pay you 58.6%, because that's the amount of persons that make payment for the month of May, 58.6%. So instead of GB collecting 26,386, we only collected 15,462.20. And this 15,462.20 is what have to cover our monthly expenses as a family. GB has 240 children and our equipment that we need to maintain. We have a mortgage, and the mortgage will be the fuel that we have to buy and the water, because GB delivers water. GB do not produce water, so we have to purchase water on a monthly basis to deliver to the community out there. So we have a mortgage, we consider that our mortgage, and then we have general expenses, and then we have, I still miss the food. Yes, this is considered like the food, and then we have the general expenses, we have social expenses. So now I'm going to put it in a figure. So this is my salary, 15,462. My mortgage is 14,199. My food expense is 4,000. My general expense is 750. There is no money for social expense, and still I have a loss which I have to take from my cash flow. So it means if GB have to continue only collecting 58.6% of her monthly salary, that in a while, if we continue like this, we'll be going downward instead of upward. So GB really have no room for nothing, not even monies to invest if we don't collect 100%. We need to collect our full salary on a monthly basis.
The reporter posted a question to the Minister of Justice about Article 30 of the Constitution of St. Martin's suspects shall be kept separate from convicted offenders. It may claim separate treatment in accordance with their status as a non-convicted person. The judge didn't know how to pronounce his name, didn't really know what he had done for the community. And during his performance here, the prosecutor was not able to present any evidence. And that's why there's a new performer here in September, when everybody returns from the vacation, who has to stay in the cell with Mr. Brooks for another 4 months. Meanwhile, the ruling that issued these allegations has been detained on the French side, and she was deported there.
Jacqueline, I think this is not the first time that you've tried to ask about individual cases, for which I've said the ministry will not comment on individual cases. I find this level of biased reporting also very concerning, and that you would bring it here into the press briefing. That being said, you've also been explained that the ministry has nothing to say about pretrial detention. His pretrial detention was ordered by a judge, not by me, and by the prosecutor. And the family is, of course, open to exhaust all legal measures available to them should they not agree with his detention. So I think that that answers that question. And as for your other questions, I think you've also posed those already by email, and the prison will be responding to those.
Asset V insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? Asset V is cardless. Request your My Asset V account today and enter the virtual office of Asset V. Go to assetv.sx and sign up now.
Asset V, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
During this transition, Precision Theory I raised to be a firm government commitment and confidence now in Mrs. Iris Arundel, who has been appointed to help her humanity. This is Valid Broad's professionalism and Scrumpton commitments to insurance stability during this important. For the company of NVGBE, she continues to receive the properties in support of management and staff, and has demonstrated a clear focus on maintaining operational continuity and organizational stability already in the past. So now we are awaiting the new recruiter process. In the meantime, we have a good, reliable, knowledgeable, and experienced captain in the form of a manager, said the Prime Minister at the COM press briefing on Wednesday.
During this transition period, I wish to reaffirm government's full commitment and confidence, of course, now in Mrs. Iris Arundel, who has been appointed temporary manager now of NVGEBE. Mrs. Arundel brings valuable institutional knowledge, professionalism, and strong commitment to ensuring stability during this important period for the company. She continues to receive the cooperation and support of management and staff and has demonstrated a clear focus on maintaining operational continuity and organizational stability already in the past. So now we are awaiting the new recruitment process. In the meantime, we have a good, reliable, knowledgeable, and experienced captain in the form of a temporary manager for GEBE, and we are looking forward to the new recruitment of a new C-suite level for GEBE. Important also is that some statement has been made in social media about foreigners having the opportunity to take over GEBE, and they were pointing, of course, to the recent temporary manager, for example. But for clarity's sake, in 2024, when I took over as Prime Minister, a month later, we landed in this national energy crisis, and we did not have a C-suite accommodated at that particular moment for GEBE. And important to mention is that the action plan of the government in that time was just to go back to BDO that was in that time appointed by the former government of St. Martin before I took over. And they decided with BDO to do the selection procedure. And with their selection procedure, this temporary manager that recently resigned, that all of a sudden now is a foreigner and being accentuated, is just the candidate that was selected by the former government through appointing the BDO to do a selection. So we have nothing to do with the selection procedure that was made at that time. We just took over the outcome for that selection procedure through BDO, and we just followed up because it was urgent. We needed an indication of potential candidates. And in that time, we said for us to restart everything, we're just going to give continuity to the process. And that is actually how this candidate that until recently we were negotiating with were all selected by the former government through appointing the BDO to do the recruitment for them. So I do not understand that whole discussion that was recently taking place in our community. But okay, we have to move forward. We are not going to look backward, and we're going to start a new recruitment process. It's going to be given in the hands of professionals with experience in the recruitment, and they will take it over. And as soon as a selection has been done, the supervisory board will present the candidates to the shareholder, being the government of St. Martin.
I have answered the question posed by the MP. As I said, there is a misunderstanding with the questions posed by MP Ardwell Irian. Stevie Costentin, sitting next to me here, will go with me through the lacking answers to questions posed by, and once more, I will repeat if there is any member of Parliament who thinks that I did not give an answer to all the questions, please. Appreciate the back with those who did not. Speaking at a Member of Parliament in a public meeting on June 12, 2026.
Madam Chair, I hope that I have given answer to the question posed by the MPs today. As I said, there is a misunderstanding with the questions posed by MP Irian. Stevie Constantine, sitting next to me here, will go with me through the lacking answers to questions posed by MP Irian. And once more, I will repeat, if there is any member of Parliament that thinks that I did not give answer to all the questions, please present me back with those that did not get an answer. Madam Chair, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for those responses to the questions posed by members in the first round. Members of Parliament, is there a need for clarifications, or can we go straight into requesting or asking in the second round? I see MP Duran. MP Duran, you have clarifications? A clarification question. Okay, MP Duran, I give you the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is to you, Madam Chair, because indeed, as the PM mentioned, I was waiting for the clarification round to ask the same question. I asked about 40 questions, and only about 20-something was answered. And the Prime Minister mentioned that he mixed some answers together, but I didn't get much of the mixed answers. So I don't know how to proceed now, because I did send them to his assistant in the meantime.
Thank you, MP Duran. Let me first ask if there are any other clarifications. We have MP Irian. MP Irian, clarifications?
No, thank you, Madam Chair. It was similar because the Prime Minister mentioned that he generalized my answers, but that's not the case. So I don't know if to read my questions again and add them to clarifications, or how do we proceed,
okay.
basically?
Thank you, MP Irian. Prime Minister, could you briefly consult whether you do have all of the questions? That's one. Secondly, we are having a little caucus here, members. The meeting has not been adjourned, but I'll allow Prime Minister. Okay, let's get an answer from the Prime Minister on that.
Madam Chair, we have now the complete series of questions that has been posed by MP Irian and also by MP Duran. So with your indulgence, I would like to see a way that I can get an agreement with, through you with Parliament, if I can take the necessary time to work on those questions, because if I heard the amounts that I've missed, I think it's quite an amount, and that is confirmed now by my right hand here. So I would like to see if we can get to an agreement for me to work on the ones that has not gotten an answer.
Okay, Prime Minister, we'll get to that understanding and how to proceed in a minute. I just want to ask if from your records, if it appears that, for example, many questions of MP Duran were not answered. I asked this to ascertain whether you have the questions. That's where I want to get at. So do you have, for example, I think MP Duran mentioned 40, of which only 20 were answered. Does it look like that from your records? Prime Minister?
The same for MP Doran. We have all the questions, I understood.
Okay.
So we are going to readdress the questions and give answer to them, but they're quite an amount, if I can understand.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Before I continue to kind of round off or round up this point, I'll give MP Lewis the floor at this time for clarifications or to get something clarified. MP Lewis.
Thanks, Madam Chair. It's unfortunate with what we're hearing now that a bunch of questions are missing, especially when the Prime Minister come here throwing shots at members of Parliament. I realize his cheerleader wasn't here for a couple of days, but they just arrived. Madam Chair, my clarification question is to the Prime Minister again. He mentioned the Minister of Finance and the Minister of TIAT is currently reviewing ways and means of relief. Prime Minister, the people need to know a date. When is this relief coming? I need you to clarify that. That is too broad, Prime Minister. Thank you, Madam Chair.
My question is, to you, the PM mentioned, I was waiting for the clarification wrong to ask the same question. I asked about 40 questions, and only about 20 or so were answered. The Prime Minister mentioned that he had prepared some answers together, but I didn't get much of the mixed answer. So I don't know how to proceed now, because I sent him to his assistant in the meantime.
Madam Chair, based on parliamentary procedures and what is custom, it is pretty difficult for me to go into the second round, skipping the clarification, because I didn't get all the answers to the questions that I posed in the first round. So that in itself would make the meeting very confusing. And I agree, the meeting was called in 2025, and I asked myself if it wasn't a priority for the government to be back here, because we're going on almost a year. So it's difficult for me to go into a second round. I might have to skip some of the questions if I'm provided with the answers from the first round. So I cannot agree to a proposal like that, Madam Chair.
I just wanted to insert that, yes, this is a meeting from last year. And however, for the listening public, there were at least 3 meetings in between that were closed door on GB. So Parliament did handle 3 meetings closed door. So it's not that we did not come back to it or that it was not important. Actually, April and November, I'm sure of. And there was according to me, there was an additional one. If all the members weren't here for the closed door meetings, that's different. But we have dealt with these issues in between September to now. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Prime Minister, are you able to respond to the outstanding questions today, or is it something that you need some time? As you mentioned, there are many that apparently were not answered directly. And so, Prime Minister, your comment?
Madam, I will need some time to answer these questions. There's quite an amount that, as the Member of Parliament said, that needs still answers, so I will need to take time to give answer to these questions. So I cannot give answer to all the questions now.
A police force of St. Martin, KPSM, hosted a high-level coordination meeting on Thursday, June 18th, 2026, at the Phillipsburg Police Station, bringing together representatives from KPSM, Immigration and Border Protection Services, Customs, and other personnel within the Ministry of Justice. The session focused on developing joint strategies, improving information sharing, and identifying areas where combined enforcement and investigative efforts can produce more effective results. Particular attention was given to joint operations, coordinated enforcement actions, information sharing, and investigations that can benefit from a multi-agency approach. The management teams agreed that the challenges facing the community today require a united response from all relevant authorities. By combining resources, expertise, and operational capabilities, the various departments can better address matters related to public safety, border security, crime prevention, and compliance with local laws and regulations. These coordination meetings will continue on a regular basis to develop strategies, establish priorities, and ensure a unified approach to protecting the people of Sint Maarten. KPSM remains committed to working closely with all justice partners to promote a safer and more secure Sint Maarten for all residents and visitors.
Now for the weather forecast. Tonight through Saturday evening. Partly cloudy with light haze. Brief, isolated showers are possible. Surface winds. Tonight through Saturday evening. East-northeasterly to easterly with a gentle to moderate breeze at 10 to 15 mph. State of the sea. Slight to moderate waves. Swells 2 to 5 feet outlook through Sunday evening. Partly cloudy to cloudy with light haze and isolated showers. And now your 3-day forecast.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurance.
The University of St. Martin, USM, welcomed prospective students, parents, and community members to a well-attended information session on Wednesday evening, June 17th, where attendees had the opportunity to explore the many educational pathways available at the university. Representatives from the Caribbean Foundation Year CFY program GED, English as a Second Language ESL, associate degree programs, bachelor's degree programs, as well as the USM Business Office, provided presentations and answered questions regarding admissions requirements, tuition options, payment plans, and career opportunities. According to Head of Marketing Shobhan Gideson, the event highlighted the importance of creating opportunities for students and families to connect directly with faculty, support staff, and the admissions team. It was encouraging to see the level of interest and engagement from students and parents throughout the evening. Many persons left with a better understanding of the opportunities available at USM and with a clearer vision of the next steps in their educational journey. We are grateful to everyone who took the time to attend and to our division heads, coordinators, admissions officer Stacy James, Counselor Dr. Carol Joseph, the business office, and staff behind the scenes who helped make the event a success. One of the messages I shared with attendees is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with starting your academic journey at home. USM provides students with the foundation, confidence, and support they need to excel at the tertiary level and in the workplace. Students can strengthen their skills, mature academically, and even save financially before venturing out into the world. Whether your goal is a single course, a certificate, an associate degree, or a bachelor's degree, USM offers pathways that allow students to climb the academic ladder one step at a time. Success does not happen overnight, and sometimes the best place to build that foundation is right here at home, Gitterson stated.
This is our SXM Daily Newscast. Thank you for joining us.